Hi everybody and welcome to Get Cracking podcast. And now we are testing the video setup again. And then you will see the long cut in YouTube. This is amazing. I'm excited about that. And we are on a mission to accelerate each one of us to happiness. And today we got another amazing guest in the studio. Joonas, hello.
Hello. So happy to be here. Exciting.
I'm looking so much to ask you some tricky questions about business and life and everything. But before we go into, please, floor is yours. 60-second introduction
60
of yourself.
60 seconds. Why did you put that on me? Joonas, 38 years old. Father first, entrepreneur second. Originally from Kouvola region in Finland. That's important for us who are from there. Been living in this area of the planet now for 15-ish years, working especially in B2B sales and marketing for all of those years before also founding what today is Norders. The original form of it was founded 7 years ago by me, and that's where most of my entrepreneurial business time is consumed with today. I was thinking a lot about the seconds, so hopefully that made sense.
Roughly, yeah. It was a coherent.
Okay.
And I've understood everything.
Okay.
And it was crisp and short.
Okay.
But before we go to the business and life topics, so you're from Kouvola.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, technically, I'm from Valkeala, but it's part of Kouvola today. But when I was born, there were two separate municipalities. So some Kouvola people that might be important as a fact, but usually when nobody knows where Valkeala is, I saw your eyes yeah. So that's a small ass town, so I tend to say I'm from Kouvola, but technically today that's also true.
How's the region doing nowadays? I visited several months ago, and it didn't look that great.
It's been voted the shittiest city in Finland for several years in a row. Unfortunately, it's not doing that great. And I do remember the time I was born in 86 and early 90s when I was growing up there. So it's like The Simpsons. It's like Springfield. It's like a paper paper factory place. And I do remember when the factories were up, sort of these, without finding a better word, uneducated people were making a lot more money than maybe their education level was sort of tied into. So it was really booming there, big American cars, big TVs, fancy ski jackets, and then the factories went down, and that's where the downhill started, and that's what sort of caused that. So I do remember the time before the factories were shut down, and now I have also 3 sisters who all work in social work.
Right.
So they really get to see the worst of it, and also.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for clarification, because it's kind of I've sensed that. I've just visited briefly, and I kind of sensed maybe the things are not that all right, or it could have been better.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope for all the best for Kouvola, and hopefully the region can correct the trajectory.
Yeah.
But can I maybe shift gears and speak more about you? So do you, Jonas, understand that you are possibly a role model for some of the younger kids or people who are growing up now? And let me clarify. So you also said that you're father first. So you're a father. So you have a family. I think family is great. You're also an entrepreneur, and with the experience, with the knowledge, and also you're quite social and good human. So do you recognize that?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. I hope it doesn't sound too selfish, but I think I do a bit. I think I can view myself as someone that's relatable. I think that would be sort of the role model in me, that I could see someone seeing me as I don't have 1 million followers. I don't have a €1 million startup. I don't have a fancy car or fancy home. So maybe I'm someone who's sort of going through the wind, pushing through, smiling through it, and maybe relatable in that sense.
I like the word relatable. So then it feels that maybe you might be closer to people rather than the people who we see on TV with the
Yeah,
like
yeah.
figures and
And that's also the feedback I'm sort of getting that has helped me maybe understand that the role model is a big word for me.
Right.
That someone that someone can sort of find a bit of inspiration from because of some nice messages that I have just, for example, recently received from fellow entrepreneurs saying that so cool you sort of put yourself out there that way, and so cool that you honestly tell about the mistakes and problems with your company. So maybe there's some inspiration in that.
Yeah. So how does it? Is a big responsibility.
Because I don't have a million followers yet, I don't still view it as a big responsibility. And also, I mean, there's, for example, the fact that I'm really honest about my background with drugs and financial issues. I've also, in all honesty, seen that there's sort of selfish motivations behind it. But when I'm really honest and raw, I've noticed that it sort of helps me create trust as well. So it's not just that I need a forum to talk about these
What do you mean about the selfish motivation? So do you do it like only for self, or like what kind of sense do you include there?
For a selfish reason, I mean that building my own sort of financial security is still a big part of my sort of everyday grind. I'm still far away from being financially secure and having financial security for my family, and that's one of the main goals. I fucked up twice my money real bad, and like that is it. I still want to have that stress ever again. So that is a big motivation for me. So for selfish reasons, I think, and I do believe I need to take care of myself before I can really take care of others.
Yeah, I love it. I think this is one of the leadership concepts I also learned on practice maybe, and there's a direct connection between self, how you feel, and how other feels. And then for example, if I don't feel great, I cannot help others. So it's ultimately, even though maybe I do something for others, but I start with self to be able to contribute more to others, and vice versa, it doesn't work. So if you are destroyed, if you're not financially secure, if you are not confident, if you don't feel good, if you are unhappy, then you might just not get there.
Yeah, and I think it's also maybe it has something to do with the business you are in. Talking about leadership in a business context, but as we discussed before the cameras were on, that Norders is a service business. So for us, our success is really just doing outstanding customer service. We do marketing and sales for money. It's like the most basic brain service business on the planet, at least for me, the simplest one. So for me, leadership is not that. I don't know a crazy secret to something, or I'm not technically super advanced. So for me, example is really showing up with energy and confidence, as you mentioned, and with that customer service attitude that requires a posture and just general well-being and so on. So for me, being an example is not least just taking physically care of myself.
Yeah. I also noticed you do a bit of sports as well, right?
Yeah.
How's your sport routines?
I'm glad you asked. No one ever asked that.
The podcast is just my representation of getting happy. So sport is important for me. Thus, I'm asking people about sports, and I'm encouraging people to do more and more sports.
I'm happy to support that. Sports is super important for me. As a good boy from Kouvola, I grew up playing ice hockey, obviously, and I was supposed to be an NHL player, obviously, as a good kid from Kouvola, born in the 80s. I'm not an NHL player. Spoiler alert, but so I grew up playing sports. I started playing hockey when I was 3, and when you start doing something that early, maybe you don't reflect on it that much. So then when I quit playing hockey, when my dad noticed it's not covering the bills, I quit completely doing sports completely, and that's when I turned into drugs as an alternative. And then at some point, you're like, man, I'm really sad. Like I don't use the word depressed lightly, but like super sad, and like life sucks. Like I feel terrible, like and all that. And then I sort of found the positive effects of sports through personal reflection. And like if I just go to the gym early in the morning, I'm not that stressed out during the day. So it really became quickly a way of stress management. And until today, I love to do my sports in the morning because I usually wake up, I'm like, oh, I have that and that and that to do. And like, oh, I'm going to do that and I'm going to prepare for that. And I go to the gym. And when I leave the gym, I'm like, whatever, everything's going to be fine. So that's very important for me, just like from the business sort of development side to do sports every day. And then I do like sport aesthetics. I think just sort of the vain side of it, like I do like a fit body, and maybe that's a bit of a self-discipline thing. If that's something I admire and like once again, if I can't take care of that much of myself.
On the positive side, I really feel you about that. And it's also interesting. It's interesting to ask and interesting to hear what others kind of fit, because we all have different answers.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of the same but different. So if I dig in myself, it will be kind of same, but still a bit different. Yeah. Even though we are doing kind of same gym, and then you go in the morning, I go afternoon or the evening, but it's the same gym. In the end, and then different benefits. Cool. But let's speak a bit more maybe about your entrepreneurial journey before Norders. So there are several brands I'm gonna maybe share, so then So I found this. There was Ranch, there was Dream, and there was the Lead Snow.
Yeah.
And is any of those companies are kind of still alive?
Yes. So Branch is Norders today.
Okay. So this was
yeah. So my home in Kouvola is a small farm that we call Ranch, and then my stepbrother Johannes is the co-founder for Norders as well. So he had a video camera and not a job at the moment, I don't think. So I started selling his video services, and we came up with Ranch Video Marketing Agency, and that escalated into what Norders is today. And then Dream is an online well-being platform that is still alive today, and that's one of my big questions quarter after quarter to myself. Am I lacking focus? That I'm sort of it is being current.
Do you do something for Dream still?
Yeah, a lot, but it's not living up to its potential. And the only reason I can really come up with is that it's not getting the love it requires for it to.
I went to the LinkedIn page of Dream, and there were like lots of people there.
Yeah, and also the Facebook. We have a private Facebook group that is strong. Just I've kept myself up many nights with Dream, and I think it's just lack of focus, and that's one of the big questions for Dream this year is that is it worth keeping it alive? Because it does take maybe depending on the week, 10 to 20% of my week. Right. We have a business director that's sort of handling day to day.
Okay.
But I'm still 10 to 20% active, and then the brain power as well. So how about if I would put that energy into Norders? I don't have an answer for that. But so Dream is still alive.
Okay.
Lead Snow was my get real rich real fast plan.
About the ideology, so before you open up about Leads now, do you think there are these things, get rich faster?
Maybe for some people, I think my personal lessons in life is that I can achieve certain things if I work harder than the others with people who are smarter than me. That's I remember as a kid, so I'm born in 86, and I got to play with kids who are born in 84 hockey. And my skills just skyrocketed. I'm man, just this fact that I got to play with these older kids skyrocketed. And then once that sort of skyrocket started to happen, I'm also going to start practicing every day I played goalie. The other goalies they have to practice 4 days a week, and I started doing 7 days a week, and things started happening real fast. So I'm not the sharpest tool in the toolbox, but I can outwork and I can grind. So that means for me in my theory that things will take time. So get rich real fast is not for me, at least. I guess for some.
For them, maybe.
Yeah,
They should come to my podcast.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we will listen and learn that. But getting back to the get rich fast with the leads now, what happened there?
So that was a Norders project where we tumbled into this technology that we could basically source any decision maker on the planet and tie it into the technology that it was using. And we saw this was 2-3 years ago, and that's when Apollo and Lucia were sort of like really becoming big things. Apollo, I think, is the sort of maybe the number one benchmark on decision maker data. So it's basically the same idea. So we define decision makers through crawling internet and different databases, and then connected it with other filters. So we quickly realized there are a lot of players in the market. So we would need to sort of collect money fast and sell it fast to someone like that. But then, I then thankfully quickly realized that, it will take time. It will take a lot of work. And because the business idea was really general, we didn't collect a lot of money real fast either. So I'm happy. I think we spent maybe $30,000 on that little experiment. So for me, some real money, but then on the other hand, I'm pretty happy about the experience and the realization that okay, now it's time to get out. So we just killed it.
Okay, got it. And then basically now we are getting to Norders, the Norders venture. Norders is the kind of classical agency, but then you have not really classical approach to sales and marketing.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. So in its essence, it is a very traditional sales and marketing agency, but big part of my philosophy when it comes to sales and marketing is that you need to differentiate yourself. And that's basically what we're trying to do with our approach. I also, as I said, I'm a bigger believer in focus. So we try to focus on B2B and especially on SMBs in B2B. So that's part of our approach. And then we've also noticed with our customers, not the least, that when you have something new and shiny, market might be interested. So you want to have some sort of angle that differentiates your view on the future from your competition. And if you go to Norders website, you see the word RevOps quickly there, and that's sort of what we've been packaging. We're actually currently just going through sort of rephase, and this is something I'm a big believer in, is that you need to constantly be updating your copy, and a lot of our customers are really afraid of that. That's one of the missions I'm on, that like don't be afraid to iterate.
It's like an evolution.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's the end of one era and there's a beginning. I agree on this approach.
And you don't need to kill the previous era. You just need to build on that, and that's what I've been now trying to explain to our team. We're getting really solid data from the market, from our potential customers, from our existing customers. So they're Joonas, RevOps is really cool, but we don't give a fuck about it. So we need to talk the language that our customers need in order to solve their problems, so they would give you money for the solution.
From the branding perspective, RevOps sounds actually stupid because it reminds us of technology and the IT things. The DevOps. I think DevOps is such a strong kind of like a brand name. So then when you say RevOps, it's like first time when I've seen it, I heard it, I was like, is it the same as DevOps, but RevOps? What we're speaking about.
And we do have like one problem that we've had with our sales team is that customers who are interested in RevOps, they come to the first meeting expecting some sort of technology or demo, and we actually just want to do a website. But I'm that's Norders today. 10 people strong in total. 4 of us now employed. So that's a big shift. We were born as a freelancer-based agency model, and serving B2B, SMB.
Something that I was like trying to kind of follow. Was there anything in 2022? Did you have any kind of aha moment or some kind of reshaping that influenced like appearance of Norders or like changed Norders strategically?
Yes. So Norders was first born as this really beautiful idea of like a global community for creatives. That's actually what it was born as. And I mean, still, it was a very, very sincere, beautiful concept that we're gonna build this global community of creatives, and then sort of almost like as a byproduct, these creatives are just gonna like come together and build these projects that are gonna then finance this beautiful work from anywhere, future of work, modern workplace.
Sounds too good to be true.
and at the same time, it was sort of ranch, traditional business that was financing it all. And then 2022, when we ran out of COVID support money. So first, when we started the beautiful modern community of creatives, we got a lot of COVID support because all the SMBs were getting the COVID support. So a lot of that poured in. When that stopped, our income stopped. Then we really needed to pivot what we're going to do with our lives. And that's when we sort of realized we're good at traditional sales and marketing agency stuff for B2B SMB companies. And we need to focus, and we need to find our focus on providing that service in a different way. So that was sort of our aha moment, that what are we really good at, what are we also passionate about, and what we can get money from. Because we're not financially packed, we don't have a long runway. Our official goal this year is to pay our salary every month. So that we just need to be on that. Where can we provide most value for money? And so that was.
The reason I'm asking you is that, like, when I was collecting the material about kind of yourself and the company and kind of trying to match it, that I've seen that there is something going on, and I was like, I assume that there's like, okay, there's some pivotal moment. So now it goes in place. How did you cope with that? How was it for you? And like, what was happening kind of for yourself as Joonas, as a entrepreneur, business leader, company owner?
Interesting. Big shift in my life as well, because before that, I think we were all sort of happy, let's vision this bright future. And that was then the moment I kind of had to put on my big boy pants, and I did avoid that for a long time. That was sort of the first time in my life I think I was not able to avoid drama and conflict anymore, and that really changed a lot for the entire business. When I noticed that I can move towards conflict, I can solve conflict, and then noticing that how much better life is when you move towards conflict. So that was a big change for how the team viewed me, our potential when we're willing to face the hard things. And that was, but it was at the same time, like looking back, it was not fun.
This is all about the life. So we start the podcast. You give the introduction, and we all think of like, oh, okay, how cool he is. He's like the king of the world again. Business owners and everything. But then when we dig a bit deeper, then you understand that like it's really not easy. There's lots of challenges. There's these pivotal moments where you kind of recreate yourself. And probably now when we think through, it's kind of happy end, because Norders is growing, right? So it is a happy end ultimately. But then at the moment for you, it was probably difficult. Now you also mentioned, so Norders is growing, and now you have more employees. Do you think now it is another pivotal moment to step up the game? Or
I'm such a man of routines. You asked about the sport routines. Like I don't really like my weekends and weekdays are exactly the same. Like I do things by the minute. Right. So I'm all about routines. So these pivotal moments are not easy for me. Maybe that's a good lesson from this podcast actually, that I started now thinking that maybe I should sort of keep more emphasis on pivotal moments and sort of maybe prepare myself for those. Because I feel like what I'm trying to control life real hard, that every day would be the same and it would be where actually it's just maybe that's definitely something I can work on. But at the same time, I've been trying to hold the life by the ball so hard that things are now a bit smoother. And I think a big reason for that is that we've been now heading, for example, conflict early on. Instead of letting things escalate, we've been reacting to our cash flow problems early on instead of 23, for example, I did not tell our owners about our cash flow problems and put my own money to secretly finance the business. Not a good idea to have a conversation about that with your wife and then later on with your so just
like, hey, by the way, honey, we had Range Rover plans to be bought, or like the new kit.
But we still own Norders.
But I have Norders.
So I think being able to not react anymore, but have a bit of control has helped to not be such a reactive moment. So we'll see how this turns out. I sort of, because of last year, I try to make this year not as crazy. I wouldn't mind this year not being quite as emotional as last year.
Yeah. The reason, I think I already spoke on the podcast or in the content. One of the recent books I've read was it's called 10x is easier than 2x. And then the overall logic is it's about recreation. So if there are moments in life when you need to do something completely different and then to just get to the next level or to fix the problem, and this is when you kind of need to break those routines and patterns and then timetables, what you do normally, because if you continue, you're going to continue getting the same result that you were getting, and this is not bad. So maybe if this is the whole idea, so if you want to continue to get the same results, you just continue doing what you're doing but a bit more faster, more efficient. But then if you want something different, then you need to start doing it differently. And the whole Pareto law is also kind of about the same thing, so that you focus on 20% rather than 80%. But then this is the theory, and practice we all leave the life like, okay, what's going on here?
It's interesting. I've gathered a lot of calm through more of like a bit better everyday approach and trying to really I found myself getting relief of forcing myself to enjoy the process and be grateful in that moment. I'm so grateful that I get to live this life that I'm already living. I had a healthy daughter and being able to it's work time and I'm doing this kind of shit and so I'm really grateful for that. And if I become a bit better every day, that's a Kobe Bryant line. Maybe in 5-10 years, great things will happen. Do you think if can those two be matched? Can you go bit better every day, process over results, and then those pivotal moments sort of will find their way?
Maybe. I don't know. We will see.
One thing I also believe is that if you're doing 1x and waiting for the 10x moment, it won't come. You need to go out and work hard. That's opportunities come to those who work.
100%. No, this is so true. So opportunities do come to those who work hard and then who show up.
Yeah.
You need to show up and you need to be there.
Take risks.
And you need to be also open. It's all about the mindset. So you can work hard, but then if your mindset are closed,
curious at all.
No, nothing gonna happen. Let's speak more about calmness and happiness. So you mentioned that you found more calm. So is this important for you?
Yes, very. I think just for survival reasons.
Okay.
I have a background of being really stressed out about what can only be described as very little things, right? How someone might react when I have to let them go, how a client might be mad because her delivery was not great, how little things, right? But then being able to sort of through sports, I've tried a lot of meditation. I haven't found a meditation practice that would have worked for me, but then just sort of when I'm going to bed, I know ways to calm myself down and be grateful and so on. So I think it's a lot to do for that, to be the best version of myself for my family and for my team. And so, it's a lot nicer to be happy during the day than being stressed out about little stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, what is happiness for you?
Gratefulness, enjoying the moment, being grateful in the moment. Yeah, I think that's a lot to do with that freedom. Moments like this when it's work hours and I get to do this, and or when I'm with my daughter and I don't need to do work, I'm happy. But also when now, for example, when we're doing sort of this redoing the sales arguments for Norders, I'd be very happy with that process. Being in the moment, I think that's I have read it from people who are much more established and successful and richer than I am, that if you're not happy with what you have today, you will never be happy, and that sounds good to me.
This, more speaking with people and more asking about maybe these more difficult questions that we don't always ask. When hey, how are you? How's the business going? That one of the highlights I got, there is a chance that we always have a tendency to be unhappy. That with every solution there comes new problem, on new problem or new kind of thing that you wish to have or wish to do.
There's always a nicer car. There's always a bigger house. There's always something.
There's always something. Yeah. Something that you want to be better, or something that is not going right currently. That we change, financial situation change, things around us change, but then we still have the same type of problems with the time. So resonate with that. But then also there is a segue maybe to one of the questions I ask also frequently, not from every guest. This is not the traditional one, but Joonas, are you happy?
Yes, very. And yeah, maybe to add to that question and the previous one is that it does help that you vividly remember and feel the times you were not. And it doesn't take much not to be happy. I do remember that stress when not being able to pay the bills anymore, and when not being speaking terms with your family. So I can understand someone who has never had hardship, that happiness might be harder for those to see in everyday life. But yeah, I'm happy, and I'm sure not least because I do remember still so vividly what not being happy is, and it's not really far away.
No. And it's the journey.
Yeah.
We continue to leave it, and we continue to kind of go somewhere.
Yeah.
I like that you're mentioning remembering unhappy moments.
Yeah.
Before we are wrapping up, is there any final remarks you'd like to project?
Work hard. That's not work hard and help others. That's what I hope I would see more of, and that what I see people who are successful and who get their way in life and who find happiness is that, as cliche as it sounds, that if you continuously over deliver, good things will come to you. One of the sort of my classic entrepreneurial business lessons is that a common advice I hear for new entrepreneurs is that start with high prices. It's hard to increase prices later on. So set your price right in the beginning. So that's the only way. Just keep finding clients who are willing to pay that. We did first 5 of our videos and first 5 of our websites completely for free. We provided value. Then first client we got paid 400 euros for a website. I remember celebrating that with my girlfriend back then, and now we were realistically aiming to be a €1 million company this year, which is another milestone on our journey. So over deliver, create value, work hard, appreciate the moment, find the good in it, and good things will come.
Love those advices, and also just maybe to build on top of that a bit is that like the situation is so different. So, depending on the case, sometimes I would recommend somebody like, okay, yeah, charge, like, you're that great, you're like superstar. Okay, charge the premium price for that. Of course, this is your, customer segment, and then they want to pay you this price. And then some other situations, like, if you have nothing, if you're just starting, go for free, especially if this is like, such an applicable thing, like, building the website. It is clear what it is. Right? Or if you're a photographer, go start picturing people and then put them all on. And then just start doing, and then you can iterate. Yeah.
That's a good clarification. Yeah, I think it's especially for when you're starting out. And I also think everyone, if you're interested in starting out, I think a lot of people who listen to your podcast are interested in that. Go and do that side hustle. Have your leads know. Like I'm very grateful for that experience as well. And this is another cliche, but the biggest pain is the pain of regret, or I guess another classic one is you choose your pain, regret, or the pain of getting it done.
All right, but then also, by the way, so I really need to mention that, so we know each other for quite a while now, so then I have you in my socials, and I really see that you are stepping up your kind of social game, way more content across platforms. Joonas' CEO blog is already on YouTube, LinkedIn still active, Instagram is on the spot. You also probably do some other social, so how do people find you and support your work? What's the best place?
Well, I have a virtual assistant, by the way. So I'm only filming it myself. She's doing everything. She's doing the editing. She's doing the distribution, and it's a game changer, obviously, because now
she's golden.
She's golden.
Like Nikolai, I have Nikolai join my team, and he's helping out with everything, and I'm so happy about that.
But the vlog I'm doing myself.
Okay.
So that's an interesting project. That was also first a thing for me that I sort of wanted to face my fears. I've been ever since Casey Neistat vlog came out. What year was that? Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, which changed YouTube forever. I'm like, man, I want to do that. Yeah. And that feel of regret for years and years and years, you're not getting anything done. So then I'm happy that finally I got myself right. And okay, people are gonna laugh at me. Everyone's gonna think I'm stupid and embarrassing, but I'm gonna do it. And surprise, no one cares. The only words I've heard are positive. Maybe someone's laughing at me, but no one has told me that. And the other thing I thought was that making a vlog would suck. So much fun. Like I'm searching all this gear now. I'm like looking at these vlogs, how they're doing their like cinematography on it. And so if I would get to choose, please check out my vlog. That's my baby, my other baby. I'm really sort of proud of that, what it's becoming, and that I'm actually doing myself. So that might be something. So YouTube, Joonas, KY.
Everybody, I'll leave the links there, but then everybody please go support Joonas, and then there will be also like LinkedIn, Instagram links if you're on other platforms. And then check out Norders Marketing Agency. RevOPS is still live. They need more clients. They have like 1 million to hit this year in revenue. So
if you're a B2B service or technology business, let us know. We can definitely help you.
Great. Joonas, thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure to discuss with you again. Hopefully we get you back here after you hit your million goal. And then everybody, please go subscribe to this podcast. Leave us a like on all the platforms. Distribution was recreated. We are like everywhere nowadays. Thank you so much and enjoy your day. Bye.
Bye.